Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and I am anxious to see what you all think about the new microphone. So this is Sunday, July the 25th. I am Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Let me get connected here so I can see what you all are saying. So hello, and welcome everybody. July the 25th. This year is just literally flying by. And I know once you get to be my age, it's like, you know, all old people say, oh, little you kids, you know, the time's just flying by, but it really is. So hello, John from Home Base. How does the new microphone sound? I'm anxious to hear. So I can see the volume thing going up over here, and I'm hoping that that's a good thing, and I'm hoping that you all say that it sounds good. But I do have the other microphone on standby. It is at the ready right here just in case we need it. Hello, Deborah. So if somebody could let me know how the sound sounds, that would be awesome. I don't know if I'm talking too loud, too quiet. Okay, so Carol Lou says it's a little low tonight. Carol Lou, I have a microphone right here. So I need to talk louder. And hello, Betty Ann. Let's see. I do not know how. Okay, John says it's good. I don't know how to change the volume on this microphone, or if there is a way to change the volume. And hello, Alicia. Okay, so I was afraid I was going to be talking too loud, so I will just talk normally then. Hello, Sandra from Dingman's Ferry. But last week when I went back and listened to it, I noticed that I sounded like I was in a well, and I'm not really sure what was up with that. I don't know if the other microphone just wasn't working and it was picking up from the camera. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Heidi. I don't know. So y'all let me know how it sounds, because Casey helped me get a, hello, Faith. Good to see you. Okay, and Elaine says she is having a hard time hearing me. Sandra says it's good. So I don't know what to tell you all. I got a brand new microphone. Hello, Lynn. Hoping. And Vicky says it's too low. Alicia says it sounds good. I don't know what to tell you all. Last week we sounded like we were in a tunnel. And hello, Mary from Ontario, Canada. And hello, Lynn. Good to see you again. So half the people say it sounds good. Half the people say they are having trouble. This is a brand new microphone. Kathy says it sounds good. And Carol says it's lower, sounds lower than normal. Okay, but do I sound like I'm in a tin can? Because last week when I went back and watched it, it sounded like I was in a tin can. So, okay, and Heidi says it sounds good. So I'm going to keep talking. Okay, so this is Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Today is July the 25th. And it is Sunday. So if you are here with us live, hello, Carol from Surrey, British Columbia. Good thing I know some of my provinces in Canada also, since she just gave me the initials for that. But I don't know. I know a little bit about geography. Hello, Roberta. Good to see you again. Paula says it sounds good in Alabama. Sherry says repeat. And I think Karen's going to pop in. Hello, Sherry. And Kathy says no tin can. That is awesome. And Lynn says no tin can, but you could talk louder. Okay, Lynn, I know you're not here with me, but I'm like, I'm shouting. Let me see, and I'm just going to make you all suffer through this. I am going to see if I can figure out how to turn up the volume. So you all will have to tell me if I'm actually turning up the volume, because I can't tell. Okay, so is the volume louder or the same? And I'm not going to waste any more time of your time. I'm not going to waste any more of your time on the speakers. Casey and I tested it and we thought it sounded pretty good. So I'm just going to keep talking. And Vicky says it's still low on her cell phone. I don't know what to do. Casey and I will just keep practicing for next week. Apparently we are having microphone issues. Okay. So, okay, and Roberta says it's the same. So Casey will have to help me with the volume later because I don't know what to do. Okay, this is Sunday. It is July 25th. The year is kicking by. It is flying by. We have, and hello Trish, it is good to see everyone. If you are new with us, please ignore all of the, back and forth about the microphone and how loud we sound. If you're new, we're just trying out new equipment. So we're always trying to get better. The very first one of these that we did was hilarious. If you go back and watch it, it was chat number 1, although it does not have a chat number. But it was chat number 1, and if you go back and watch it, hello Linda from Perrysburg, Ohio. We actually tried with the iPad down here, and hello Linda from Rock Island, Illinois. And then I tried to move it up like this. It fell over. It was hilarious. Anyway, it was pretty funny. So we have come a long way, but we're still trying to improve and still trying to get better. Just please do keep in mind that this is free, that we do not ask for any money for this. We do all of this free. We did get the camera was donated to us, but again, any technology that we do, Casey and I are putting our own blood, sweat, and tears into this. So just please be patient with us as we, work out any technical difficulties. Okay, we were promised storms here in Knoxville. Have not had any. It has not rained at all, and the humidity is like 1,000%, as indicated by my hair. So yeah, and Betty Ann wants to know what the date of the first one was. I don't even know. It was like 2.5 years ago. So we'll have to go back and look and see when it was, but it was like 2.5 years ago. Well, it was more than 233 weeks ago. Let's put it that way. So gosh, how long is that? Is that like 4 years? I don't know, 3.5 years. Somebody do the math. But anyway, so Karen and I did go for our walk today, and it was hot. It was hot. And Mindy, Casey did this. So this is Anna hair. Alyssa likes it when we do Anna hair, but I don't know if you can see how frizzy it is. It is hot here in Knoxville today, and the humidity is literally busting at 100% because we were supposed to have rain all day, and we have had none. We've had no rain today. So I don't know how much more humid it can get before the sky, or before the actual air itself just bursts into water. But anyway, okay, so this is July the 25th. Hello and happy Sunday, everyone. I think I got everybody. Hello, Sandy from Valpo, Indiana. If you're new, let us know because we would love to give you a shout out. If you are back with us after a little while, also let us know. And Sherry says hello to the new Florida. She is a new Florida resident, and she said it is hot there too. I expect it to be hot in Florida. You're like 2 states closer to the equator than we are, but it's just stinking hot here. Okay, but you know what? I'm complaining about it, and this winter I'll be saying that I wished it was summer. So, it's all relative. Okay, Knoxville girls. Aloha, Kathy. Knoxville girls, we do still have the same number of in-person workshops open. So there are only 3 locations here in Knoxville that have locations that are open. And hello, Andrea's been gone for a little while, but she is back. It is so good to see you, Andrea. And Lynn says that she's got it's quit raining because it rained for 4 weeks. Send us a little because we need a little bit of it. Anyway, there are 3 locations here in Knoxville where you can go and weigh in. They are in Knoxville, Powell, and I believe the third one is in Maryville, but those are on the blog on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Or you can go to Connect and you can see what those are. But you can always go find a wellness check-in on Connect. You can always go there, or you can go to WeightWatchers.com and you can sign in for your area so you can check actual wellness check-ins. So a wellness check-in would be where you would just go to weigh. Hello, Myrna. It's good to see you again too. But a wellness check-in is where you would just go in to weigh and to get your book filled out. So like if you needed to renew your lifetime membership or something like that, you could go to a wellness check-in. If you want to go to a physical workshop, and hello, Marlene, if you want to go to a physical workshop, if you're here in the Knoxville area, you're going to need to go to WeightWatchers.com or go to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and those are all listed there. The list was getting too long. Yeah, and Alicia, I know y'all need rain bad. And hello, Karen from Duffield, Virginia. So Karen, I just want to let you know that the Karen that I walk with, her name is also Karen with the same last name as you. And hello, Orlando Debbie. So you always confuse me when you pop on here, but that is A-okay because we are super glad that you were here. But just know that if I accidentally say your name, you have to come and walk with me in Tennessee because I walk with the Karen of the same name. Okay. Anyway, the list was getting too long of wellness check-ins, and hello, Penny from Texas. Wellness check-ins, places that you could go. That is awesome. I'm so glad that list is getting so long. The Tuesday nights are open in the Knoxville group for Beaver Creek. Let's see, it's Beaver Creek Cumberland Presbyterian Church. So those are open in the mornings now, and the afternoon is open. They have combined the afternoon and evening. So if you didn't come last week, you need to come. We're going to talk more about that here in just a minute. But this month's theme is finding joy. So we're going to talk more about finding joy here in a few minutes also. I did want to let you all know that if you have been coming to the 2:30 Zoom meetings with Gwen, so that is the 2:30 West Knoxville Zoom meeting, if you are a member in good standing, and Debbie, I don't know what is going on. Debbie can't hear me either. So half the people can hear me fine. Debbie's having trouble hearing me, and I think she did last week too. So I honestly don't know what the problem is. So last week we had some technical difficulties with the old microphone. So Casey and I ordered a lavalier microphone so that it would be closer, to me. And I can tell you the volume on the camera, the volume on the Mevo camera, I'm hitting more than half. So I'm hitting better than halfway on the volume. So anyway, I don't know what to tell you all. I'm so sorry. And I wish I had an answer. I wish I had something to tell you. But anyway, so, and a few of you are having to change devices. I will say this. I've noticed that on videos, when I've been trying to, like one of our employees saw a bald eagle today, and he was filming himself. He was filming a Facebook Live with the bald eagle. I couldn't hear him at all, and I had to mute. I had to go and mute the volume on Facebook and then unmute it. And once I unmuted it, then I could hear him. So I don't know. Can't explain it. I have no idea. Okay, but for those of you who came to the 2:30 Zoom meeting today for Knoxville, hello, it was good to see you all. So some of you all are falling off. Please don't do that. I know you've got your own groups to go to, but we're still having that. So hello, Jean. Hello, Jean. We're still having the 2:30 Zooms with Gwen. So if you just have to be a WW member in good standing and have the right kind of membership, and I wish I knew which kind to tell you that it was. Hello, Loretta. To be able to go to that Zoom meeting. But today we had Gwen, Myrna, Janet, Kathy, Cheryl, Marlene, Lynn, Marlene again. Sorry, Marlene, you were on there twice. Jackie, Trisha, Rachel, Mindy, Roberta, Trish, Ann, and Orlando, Debbie. So we had all of those people there. If you do want to come, if you have a WW membership, you can just go to Connect. It's digital. Thank you, Mindy. It is called Digital Plus Unlimited Workshops. So if you have that kind of membership, or if you have in-person workshops, you can go to those. So if you are doing in person, you can come to that Zoom meeting. And that's the 2:30 West Knoxville meeting with Gwen. So we always have lots of fun, and she is going to continue to do that until that spot is filled up with a live in-person workshop. So as of right now, she is still good to go. So this month's theme is finding joy. And I just have to say again, they're knocking it out of the park with their graphics. I love the graphics again this week. If you can go back and log in and look at this last week's. If you're new, we're always a week behind because I'm doing this on Sunday when the new program comes out. So when the new, when the new week comes out, there is not enough time in the day for me to get that ready when the new one comes out. So we are always a week behind. That is also so that if you missed your workshop last week, or if you missed getting to go to a virtual workshop, then you can catch up with what the weekly topic was the week before. So last week during our live chat, that was chat number 232. The topic was Hooray for Happy Meals. We were not talking about Happy Meals. So getting ready to be Hooray for Happy Meals, I had some hooray for sitting my bottom in a seat. So that's my first question. Who sat their bottom in a chair? Give me a thumbs up if you sat your bottom in a chair last week. And I'm going to do some thumbs ups because I sat my bottom in a chair. So look how many thumbs ups I just did. We had our first in-person workshop. And excuse me while I get my hair out of my eyes. We had our first in-person workshop in 16 months. And Linda says she was so happy I had my little bottom in a chair. Yep, and her chair was green, my chair was white, and I was A-okay with that. It was a little bit different setup, but I was super happy to be there. So I'm going to give myself a thumbs up for having my bottom in a chair. So thumbs ups for having your bottom in a chair or for attending a Zoom workshop, and I attended both. So here, I'll do some more thumbs ups. And if you attended live with us last week, let's see some hearts. So if you're new and you don't know what to do, if you're here with us live, you have little buttons at the bottom of either your phone or your tablet. Not sure what it looks like on the computer, but you can do thumbs ups and you can do hearts if you were here with us live. If you're watching this later on YouTube, it's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. Or if you're watching this from IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, you can just put in a heart emoji like Alicia and Sandra just did and Myrna just did. They just did emojis with a thumbs up or a heart, and Sherry just did a heart, and she changed her color, so she did a green heart. Okay, and Lynn says, for some reason, when I have my hand towards my face, I am louder. Surely to goodness, this is not picking up on my iWatch. I hope not. Let's scoot this up just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, I'll put that just a little bit higher, but I am hoping that it is not going to get, that's weird. So, okay, anyway, Debbie had to get her headphones in. Okay. So anyway, I'm hoping my hair is not going to interfere with the lavalier microphone. So I've never used one of these. They're what Casey used to use when she did plays in high school. So I've never used one, so I'm a little bit awkward with it. But okay, so we are still talking about finding joy. Sat my bottom in a chair last week. Talk about joyful. Joyful. So I was super, super joyful sitting my bottom in a chair last week. Zoom meetings, super joyful for that. Super joyful for these lives. So that is so weird. Wait, Carol says definitely louder when my hand is towards my face. How could it be louder if my hand is towards my face? Surely to goodness my watch has not picked this up. That is so weird. Okay, and again, I'm just telling y'all, I can see the volume from the camera, and I'm pushing. Oh, I'm over halfway. I'm pushing it over the halfway mark. So, okay, I'm afraid to talk any louder because Casey had a time with the volume last week trying to get it adjusted from where I kept talking louder so that those who couldn't hear me could hear me. Anyway, so if you attended a Zoom meeting last week, if you attended a virtual workshop last week, give me some hearts. A lot of y'all already do that because you already knew the drill. So thank you for getting ahead on that. But for everybody who went, and I won't be wearing a hat every week, Linda, so I don't know, I got to figure something else out. But anyway, for everybody who attended and half the people are saying that the volume's good, literally, half the people are saying that the volume's good, and half the people are saying that they can't hear me. So, I don't know. And Myrna said it did not change at all when I raised my hand. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. Debbie, maybe you need to come up here and help me with this since you're a techie whiz. But anyway, so Bravo stickers for everyone who attended an in-person workshop or who did a virtual workshop last week, and also for watching with us live last week. So, okay. So last week was chat number 232, and it was hooray for Happy Meals. And no, we were not talking about the golden arches. We were not talking about the golden arches. So as of last week, I was 72 hours away, or during last week's chat, I was less than 72 hours away from sitting my bottom in a white chair again, and I was super, super happy. So we were talking about things that make your meals, though, more happy. Not just Happy Meals from McDonald's. Sorry, from the Golden Arches, but things to make your meals more happy. And one of the things we talked about was breaking out some fancy dishes. One of the things, not even fancy, just some dishes. I mean, just eating out of real dishes or drinking out of a real glass instead of, again, standing at the counter, just standing at the counter eating out of a pizza box or whatever. That's not, that doesn't make anybody happy at all. That doesn't make for a happy meal at all. Giving it a name. We talked about, my Waldorf salad. If I just called it, yogurt with some fruit in it, nobody would want that. Nobody would eat that. I wouldn't even want that. It makes it much happier when you give it a cute name like Waldorf chicken salad. It made it so fun, as a matter of fact, that I had it 4 times last week. And I made that man's chicken breast that's exactly right, Loretta, a pretty plate. Doesn't have to be fancy, just has to be if it's pretty, it even just, makes it better. But I put that man's chicken breast in it, and it just made it that much better. So that man's chicken, it's just chicken breast. It's just air fryer chicken breast, but it sounds so much more fun, so it makes for a happy meal. And then the last thing was to find your color wheel and to do some colorful things. If you go back to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com and if you look at the Waldorf chicken salad recipe, it has all the colors in it. It has purple, it has green, red, yellow. I mean, it has all the colors in it. It was such a happy plate, such a happy plate. And I went back and looked at my Taco Tuesday bowl. Just, to see what since I mentioned it last week, to see what the colors are. And I think that's what I'm going to make for the next, so when the next cycle fits of the next 4 things that I need to make, I think I'm going to go back and make the Taco Tuesday bowl because it was so pretty. But I think I'm going to make it just a little bit differently, but I'll talk about that next week. I'm not going to tell you about that this week. But this week, your homework was to make some happy meals. So make happy meals was your homework for this week. Last week we made happy time. This week we made happy meals. So what I wanted you to do was to make a STAR goal, and the STAR goals, remember, they're specific, they're truly doable, it's actionable, meaning you're going to do something and not do something, it's an action, and they're relevant, so it's relevant to whatever is going on right now, even if it's not weight related. And I will give you a great example of a STAR goal. So we have a girl here at work that she wants to improve her computer skills, and and that's great, that is awesome that she wants to improve her computer skills, but she wants to go from where she's at to a super pro, like in one step. And she's frustrating herself greatly because she can't get from A to literally Z in one step. So we sat down yesterday and talked about making a STAR goal for her, non-weight related. It has nothing to do with her weight. But we talked about making a STAR goal for her, for what she wants to learn on her computer. And we picked something that was specific. So the specific that we picked for her last week was she's going to try and increase, she's going to increase her words per minute. She's going to increase them a certain amount. It's truly doable because we made it a small amount. It's actionable because she's going to do it, and it's relevant because it's relevant to what she wants to do here at work. But she's going to break it down into tiny pieces, and I think she'll be much more successful. But so my STAR goal for last week was to make 4 meals, since we were going to go back to 4 days worth of meals and pre-track them. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. Lynn didn't do the homework because lightning hit the tree behind her back porch and it knocked her internet out all week. But you're okay, right, Lynn? You're okay? And no wonder you're tired of the rain. I guess you are tired of the rain. You're ready for it to move on. You don't have to send the lightning, just the water. We just need the water. But so my STAR goal was to do 4 days of meals and track them, and I did it. And we'll talk about that more in the second half. But for your homework this week, you were going to make Happy Meals, and let's see how you did. Carol Lou made Happy Meals by choosing 0-point purple things like brown rice, whole wheat pasta, potatoes, and then she made it happy by adding spices that she grew, or herbs that she grew at home, like chives, basil, parsley, sage, rosemary, and dill. And I want to know what you do with the sage. I'm super interested in what you do with the sage. But then she made it extra happy meal because she used a WW Pound Dropper. And if you all have not followed Pound Dropper on Instagram, you need to. She kills me every single day. Every single day. She posts something every day that I want right then. So anyway, she made Pound Dropper's strawberry poke cake, and it made me happy just looking at it. Okay, so that was definitely a happy meal. And then Mel found some low-carb bread, and she used it for toast with her scrambled eggs one morning, but she's planning an even happier meal by using it to make a Wego this week. And you all know how much I love Wegos, so anything Wegos makes me happy, makes me very happy. And then Vicky has been using a half of a Granny Smith apple, 2 handfuls of spinach, 4 strawberries, Okios no sugar yogurt, stevia, and 1 cup of water for a breakfast smoothie. And she says it's yummy and filling, so that makes her happy. So that is definitely a happy meal. So for everybody who did your homework, and especially for these ladies, here are your extra Bravo stickers for doing your homework this week. Y'all did a great job. I hope you'll do your homework for next week. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But I wanted to do an English quiz. So who knows, without cheating, without looking, what the definition of awe is? And I don't mean awe like, oh man. I mean awe like A-W-E. And I'm going to get a quick sip of water. It's not time for water yet, but I'm going to get a quick sip. And y'all could probably hear that with my new microphone. Okay, so the definition of awe, if it's used as a noun, the definition of awe, according to dictionary.com, is awe is an overwhelming feeling of reverence, admiration, fear, etc., produced by that which is grand, sublime, extremely powerful, or the like. You could be in awe of God, in awe of a great political figure. It's archaic, power to inspire fear or reverence, obsolete fear or dread. So I don't like the last part of it. I like the first part of it. Or if you use it as a verb, awed or awing, it's to inspire with awe or to influence or restrain by awe. So if you've been feeling a little unmotivated, so a lot of us, me included, have been feeling a little unmotivated this last 16 months, year, however long it's been, to exercise, track, follow the program, fill in the blank, whatever the thing is that you've been uninspired to do, you might need to find a little more awe in your day. So Gwen reminds us all the time that one of her earliest moments of awe every single day is when she pushes that button on her coffee machine. She's in awe of her coffee machine, that she can put the stuff in it the night before, push the button, and in just a few minutes she has coffee. She's in awe of that. That's kind of weird. Like, I hadn't really thought about that with my, with my coffee pot. But yeah, but it's a feeling of admiration. I mean, she admires her coffee pot for doing some work to make her so happy in the morning, because her first cup of coffee is the thing that makes her the most happy. But if you find, you can find a little reverence. So reverence was one of the words that was used for awe. A little reverence, some admiration, or being inspired by some awe can bring you joy. So it can, that can be one of the things that brings you joy. So how can you find some awe? So there are a couple of quick ways, a couple of just quick tips for finding awe in just some normal everyday things. So the first one is just enjoy the moment. So how many times have you been riding down the road and looking at your phone, or yelling at the kids in the back seat, or hello Cheryl, yelling at the kids in the back seat, or doing something else, and you just weren't in that moment? And there's actually a commercial right now, and I cannot remember what it's for. Some kind of lemonade, tea, I don't remember what it's for, but this lady is riding around in this carousel of things. And so she's like making lunch for the kids, and then she's doing laundry, and then she's doing something else, and then she's doing something else, and she looks out, and in her yard people are enjoying themselves, and she steps off. So that's enjoying the moment. So just enjoy that moment, even if it's just for a minute. Unplug. My gosh, how much time do we spend on our phones? I get a report every week that tells me how much time I've spent on my phone, and it rarely ever says that my screen time has gone down. So if we unplug, I do have one rule when I'm with Alyssa: my phone is down. So unless somebody needs me and is calling me, I'm not looking at text messages. I only check emails while she's taking her nap. I mean, when I'm with Alyssa, my phone is down. So I'm in that moment. So I've unplugged and I'm enjoying that moment. Be mindful. So try to be mindful of the things around you, or try to be mindful of things that went well. We're really quick to say what went wrong, but we rarely ever say what went well. So, like pushing that button on that coffee pot. My coffee pot worked this morning. I get coffee. I got green lights all the way to work this morning. That is fabulous. That's wonderful. I wasn't in that accident. Be mindful. And then the last thing is kind of look around. I mean, look for some things. So like my friend that I work with, he saw, I don't even know how far away this thing was, but because he was unplugged, now he got his phone out to film it, but he was unplugged, he was being mindful, he was enjoying his surroundings, he was taking a break, and he was looking around, he found a bald eagle. A bald eagle in the water down the street from his house. I mean, how awesome is that? He would have missed that. So, if he had been in his phone, if he'd been doing this the whole time, or if he'd just been sitting around thinking, gosh, it's awfully hot outside today. I forgot to bring my chair. Why didn't I bring my water? I wanted the strawberry flavored water, not the watermelon flavored water. If he'd just been sitting around, you know what I mean, not being mindful and not being aware, he would have missed that because it was pretty far away. But because he was mindful, he was in the moment, and because he was paying attention, he got video of a bald eagle on his property today. Anyway, that's pretty dang awe-inspiring. Okay, so this week's homework is enjoy the awe, ENJOYTHEAWE. So it's enjoy the awe. So I want you to find something. You don't have to do all four of the things, but I want you to do something. I either want you to unplug and realize something that you had. Oh, and Deborah's mom gave her a notebook that on the front of it says unplug. So I want you to find something that is awe-worthy. So something that gives you an overwhelming sense of reverence, admiration, not fear. I don't want to fear. I don't like that one in the awe. But something that just gives you just go, wow. Okay, like Carol Lou says, they have a bald eagle that nests right behind their house and they see them all the time. Okay, next time though, Carol Lou, so maybe you could do that for your homework this week. Just stop and watch them for a minute, because you have a bald eagle all the time. That's so weird that could become routine for you, to see a bald eagle. But pick something. So either unplug, turn everything off, enjoy the moment, sit quietly, keep your eyes up here while you're driving down the road. Something, and do that as your homework. So again, your homework is #enjoy the awe. #enjoy the awe, AWE. That's your homework for this week. You can do it on Instagram and tag me. You can do it on Connect and tag me. If you do it on Instagram or Connect, you need to put in the @ sign. So it's that little @ symbol. If you have an egg, and it will alert me that you have tagged me with something. If you're on here, you can just type it. because I see all those notifications. If you are over in our closed group on If You Have an Egg, I will also see it there. Or if you answer it on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com when this gets posted. Thank you, Alicia, for posting that. When it gets posted, let's see, Casey will do the YouTube videos tomorrow. Yeah, Sandra, it is time for water. I'm gasping for air. But Casey will do the YouTube videos tomorrow, and you can see those on youtube.com. Search If You Have an Egg, and you can answer there and do your homework. Or when Jessica gets this posted on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever, whenever I get the notes back to her, then you can also reply there. And just quick side note, hold on a second. Carol Lou said there was a tragic accident. Oh no. She said one of the baby eagles flew out of the nest and right into the windshield of a car. Oh no. Okay, that's pretty sad. Okay, that's not awe-inspiring. That's pretty sad. Okay, anyway, so that is your homework for this week. Enjoy, I'm sorry, your homework for this week is enjoy the awe, A-W-E. So I want you to do your homework, tag me in it, do it. Okay, it is time for some water. So if you are new with us at the halfway point, everybody needs to stop and get a drink of water. And I'm hoping the water drinking is not too loud with my microphone. I feel like I need to cover it up while I'm drinking so that y'all cannot hear that. And Joan wants to know, what is an egg mean? You mean what is the name of our group, the If You Have an Egg? So Joan wants to know what If You Have an Egg means. I think that's what you're asking me. So If You Have an Egg, it's a long story, and if you go to our website, IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, you can read all about it. Okay, so now we're going to try, for the first time ever, for the first time in forever, getting the apron on without messing up the microphone. So now everyone who's been upset with the microphone gets an opportunity to tell me how it sounds now, because I just put the apron on. So for those of you that are new, at the 30-minute mark, this is an hour-long chat. Sorry, you knew that before you got on here. Anyway, it's an hour-long chat. The first 30 minutes is always classroom, and then whatever the WW topic from the week prior was, and then, good heavens, what have I done here? Oh, please. Apparently I don't know how to use a clip. Okay, so the oh, and Debbie says I need to come back there. That is a sign. That is a sign. It is totally a sign. Anyway, so Debbie, you distracted me. So anyway, so the second 30 minutes, hello Rita, you were good. So you were just in time for the second 30 minutes. So the second 30 minutes, I add an apron, and that is so that Casey knows when it goes from the hour-long version to the 30-minute version. So if you are joining us new, or if you just always wondered, gosh, do I have to sit through an entire hour of this? You don't, because if you just want to watch the fun part, the non-classroom part, always check to see when the apron goes on, because that is the second part. Okay, and yes, Debbie, it was a big squirrel. Okay, so for the second part of tonight's chat, and this was chat number 233, and it was titled, Feel More Joy. So, Carol Lou, I am not going to put my hand up next to the microphone for the entire rest of the chat, and that confuses me so much, and thank you, Deborah. I enjoy being here. Okay, so for the second half of tonight's chat, we're going to talk about how my STAR goal went last week, and then what I'm going to do for the next couple of days. So if you've been around for any length of time, you know that I don't like to eat the same thing over and over and over again. That's literally probably why this whole thing started. However, now we got to figure out how many years ago that was. So when this whole thing started, I was trying out different things because I can't stand to eat the same thing over and over and over. Now, I mean, I'll eat, except like pizza. I mean, I could eat pizza 3 times a day for 3 days in a row. That's different somehow. But, like if I make deviled eggs, I'll eat them. I love them. I'll make them and eat them for a couple of days. Then I'm over it. Overnight oats, 2 days is about my limit. Anything, I mean, seriously, anything. I love leftovers, but I want leftovers one time, and then that's it. Even if we make a big batch of like taco soup or something like that, I'll eat it a couple of days in a row, and then I got to stop because, I don't know, I have to change things up. So what I did for my STAR goal last week when we were talking about making happy meals, I decided that because we were celebrating being back at, in person, at our workshop in Powell, because we were celebrating that, I decided that I was going to do, for my star goal, I was going to do 4 days of meals on plan, because, I mean, I've been like, this has been lackluster. I've been uninspired, this last 16 months. Luckily, I have you all, or I would have gained all my weight back. I mean, this has just been an uninspiring 16 months, except for you all. So it is so awesome to be back in person. I'm so sorry if you all can't go in person, or if you've never been to an in-person workshop. If you ever get an opportunity to, I highly recommend it. And I hope you get somebody awesome like Gwen. And if you are ever in Knoxville on a Tuesday, come see us. We would love to have you in Powell. Okay. So last week I taught my star goal was to make meals for 4 days and to actually eat them. So I made my, so let's see, what all did I make? So I had, it's on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com if you want the entire list. But so every morning I had yogurt, but I had already made, so I had commercially made yogurt. It was just Activia yogurt. So I had one of those for 2 points so that I didn't have to think about it. And then I did have a hard-boiled egg, but I used the Activia yogurt. I bought 2 different flavors, and so one morning I had berry, the next morning I had black cherry. Berry, black cherry, berry, black cherry. So that mixed it up a little bit. I put a different kind of granola on each one of them, so that mixed it up just a little bit for me. And on the hard-boiled eggs, I did, and Debbie, it was so good. And then on the eggs, I did different, and let me see if I can point to the right direction, right there. I did different Dax seasonings on them every day. So, so that, that kind of changed it up. And I know it was only 4 days, but 4 days I would have been like, I'm done. Okay. And I did cold brew coffee with Premier Protein, and in the cold brew coffee, and a little bit of skinny syrups. Let's see if I can point there. Skinny syrups in there, but I changed the flavor on that every day too, just, to kind of mix it up a little bit. Then for lunch every day, I did a smoothie. So I did 2 scoops of, I'm moving the wrong way. Hold on. I did 2 scoops, and we are at, in case you're new, we are at Casey Kitchen Center. This is where we work. This is my office basically. So we sell countertops, but we do this for fun. So anyway, so we did 2 scoops of, and now I've forgotten what it's called. 2 scoops of vital proteins, peptides, and collagen or something like that, because the commercials promise me that by the end of that container, I will look like Jennifer Aniston. Okay. So I that's what I read into it. I don't care what they say on the disclaimers or whatever. I read into this that by the end of this container that I'm going to look like Jennifer Aniston. So, and I'm holding them to that. But anyway, so every day for lunch, y'all know, if you've been here any length of time, know how I struggle to get lunch. Yeah, to get lunch here at work. So here at Casey Kitchen Center, I'm in high demand. So John says I am the center of all questions, and he's not kidding. I am the center of all questions. So, and some of that's self-induced, and some of it I can't, I've not been able to get away from. But so I decided for lunch for those 4 days that I would do a smoothie. So it was 2 scoops of the protein, the other half of the Premier Protein. So I used half of one of the containers for breakfast. I used the other half of it for lunch. Some frozen fruit, sometimes a little bit of flavoring, but I changed that up too. So I try to change that up every day too. So each of the 4 days, my smoothie was a little bit different, but it was nice because they were big. And it was actually really filling. Like that first day, I went into Casey and I was like, okay, I don't normally eat this much food this early in the day. And I was like, I'm like full. Like that's a lot of liquid to consume too, so I was like full. So if you ever wondered if drinking water was going to help you feel satisfied, help you feel satiated, yeah, it's going to, because that was a lot of liquids. And I mean, I felt full for like an hour to an hour and a half. And then in the afternoons and it was a little bit easier for me to get those in, with it being, I don't know, a drink, something I could carry around instead of being something that I was eating. Plus, since I was drinking it, I didn't have to worry about having anything in my teeth when customers came in. So I was good to go. That's one of the only things that I miss about wearing masks is if I had something to eat and a customer came in, I just put my mask on and didn't worry about it, because they couldn't see if I had anything in my teeth or not. Anyway, so I had the smoothies for lunch, and then every afternoon I had a snack of like an apple and a piece of string cheese or something like that. So it went great, except for the first night. The first night, I did not get to have, oh, I'm sorry, for dinner for all 4 nights, I had made a batch of my, it is Waldorf chicken salad, and that is already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. So if you go to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, not right now, don't leave us, don't run away, but if you go to IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, the recipe for the Waldorf chicken salad is already on there. The recipe for the Jello that I'm getting ready to talk about is already on there. The recipe for that man's chicken breast is already on there. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I made. Oh, how to make air fryer hard-boiled eggs. That is already on there. So you can see all of that on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. So the Waldorf chicken salad, I made a big batch of it. I actually probably made too much. Not going to lie. I probably made too much Waldorf chicken salad because I wasn't thinking. Nobody was going to help me eat it. And that the 4th day, you can ask Casey, I was up there going, I can eat this last bite. I can do it. I can get this last bite in. It was a little bit, I just made too much. Okay, so the first night was a bust. I did not get to eat my Waldorf chicken salad the first night. I tracked everything the first day, did a great job, got everything pre-tracked. I had even pre-tracked my dinner, and then John called and said that we were invited to dinner with some business associates. So didn't get to do that first night, but the rest of the nights it went great. Okay, so what am I going to do for the next few nights? So I have decided, Casey and I decided that we wanted Winstar Karen's, ooh, hold on a second. Debbie's been making pudding with the Premier Protein. How do you do that? Do you just mix the Premier Protein with pudding mix? Okay, Debbie, you're going to have to explain how to do that because I want to do that now. So Casey and I decided Saturday night, Saturday night was going to be a problem for me because we spend the night, since COVID started, we have spent the night over at Casey, Alan, and Alyssa's, and soon to be Bo. I keep trying to call her Pistachio because John's been calling her Pistachio for months. But anyway, so we've been spending the night over at their house since COVID started, since the first week. So every single Saturday night, we have had a slumby party out in the back, and Alyssa calls them slumby parties. I know they're slumber parties. But we've had one in their backyard every single Saturday night for the last almost 16 months. And as COVID progressed, my mom passed away, then John's dad passed away, then John's mom, got so much worse. But although she's actually pretty good right now because they're monitoring her medication. So for those of you who are asking, she's actually doing, she's like this. She's not done any of this. She's like this right now. Anyway, so through all of that, Saturday nights kind of became a free-for-all. So it was like no matter what we did during the week, Saturday night was like, woohoo, party time. We're having a slumby party. Let's eat whatever we want to. And we were eating whatever we wanted to. So this Saturday night, Casey and I decided that we wanted Winstar Karen's buffalo chicken dip. So guess what I'm having for the next couple of nights? But we're going to have to learn how to do something. I'm going to show you quickly how to make that. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and then we're going to get an experiment started. So the last 5 minutes of the chat tonight, and I'm trying to keep an eye on the clock, the last 5 minutes of the chat are the beginning of an experiment. And it's an experiment some of you all have done. I personally have not. So just give me some grace. If you've already done this experiment and you don't get to hear what it is until the last 5 minutes, you're just going to have to give me some grace on it. But okay, so how you make Winstar Karen's chicken dip, buffalo chicken dip, is absolutely fantastic. I already have in here some room temperature fat-free cream cheese. So I've got a block of fat-free cream cheese in here. Then I have a half of a cup of Velveeta shredded cheese. And if you don't have Velveeta shredded cheese where you live, sorry. Just kidding. You're going to have to go find something similar. To that, you're going to add a 1/4 of a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. So we're going to add that to it. And I did not get out a 1/4 of a cup measuring cup, so we're going to do a half of a cup. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. So we've got a 1/4 of a cup of plain non-fat Greek yogurt. Then we're going to do a 1/4 of a cup of fat-free ranch dressing. And I'll just tell you, I do not, okay, hold on. So Carol Lou, just hold on about the cream cheese, okay? Just hold on. Don't blow my secret, but hold on. So I actually do not like fat-free ranch dressing. I can't stand it as a dressing. you can't taste it in this. I mean, it just tastes like ranch dressing in this. So you can do this, or you can make your own ranch dressing. So I did not have time today to make it, but you can make your own ranch dressing. And I have a recipe on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com for how to do that, but you make it with the Dax ranch seasoning. So you can do that. So a half a cup of that. We happen to already have that in the refrigerator here at work also. And then you add a half of a cup of wing sauce. Okay, so some of y'all just passed out. If you can't do a half of a cup of wing sauce, Debbie, no jumping ahead, Debbie. No jumping ahead. No jumping ahead. See, I knew you would be able to spoil the surprise. So nobody look at what Debbie just posted. I'm just kidding. Okay. So a half of a cup of that. I love, love, love. Casey and I love Frank's Red Hot. So we can go through a whole thing like this, really quickly. Okay, let's make sure I got everything on there. Oh, and the chicken breast. So instead of 2 small cans of chicken breast, bye, Alicia. Instead of 2 small cans of chicken breast, I got big ones this time. So I'm just gonna kind of chunk that up a little bit. Oop, I better hurry because I want to tell y'all what I'm going to put it on. Okay, and then put that in there. And you just need to put this in a microwave. Yeah, I know, Debbie. Well, see, Debbie, I knew that you had done what we're going to talk about at 5 till, which is why I was like, I'm afraid Debbie's going to spoil the surprise. And it's not really a surprise. I'm just kidding. That was just for theatrical effect. Okay. So you've got that in there. And then you just kind of loosely stir it together. It doesn't have to be, well stirred, because we're going to stir it here in just a few minutes. So as as it cooks, we're going to stir it. And this is already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. It's got all the points values on there, so you can go and find those there. So let me get this off of here. And then you just stick this in the microwave. So after you get this in there, you're going to put it in the microwave on high for 3 minutes, and you're going to stir it halfway through. So let's get this going in the microwave while I tell you the rest of it. Okay, so at about 1.5 minutes, somebody needs to go, hey, go check your buffalo chicken dip. But what am I going to do with this? So Casey and I already made a batch of it. I'm making a batch of it right now. I've got stuff to make yet another batch of it. There are all kinds of things you can do with it. So my favorite thing to do, obviously, is chips. So my favorite kind of tortilla chips to eat it with, you can have 12 of the tortilla chips for 4 points. Okay, but I always want like 24 tortilla chips, not 12. So what are some other things you can do with it? Well, Saturday night at Casey's, I took just a sweet potato, just a regular sweet potato. And if you're doing purple, a regular sweet potato is 0 smart points. So I took a regular sweet potato and I put 2 servings of Windstar Karen's. Oh yeah, Betty, it's good on celery too. It is really good on celery. But I put 2 servings on here, and then I did another serving of the Windstar Karen's buffalo chicken dip, and I did my 12 chips, so I could have 0, 2, and then 2 points on purple. I'm doing purple. So it was 0 for the potato on purple, 2 for the dip on purple. Then I did another thing of dip and the 12 chips. So I had 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. It was like 7 points for the whole thing. So you can do that on a sweet potato. It's really good to do on. It's really good to do like in like a spaghetti squash. To go ahead and prepare the spaghetti squash. And we also have, pretty sure we have a chat for that. A chat for the spaghetti squash. Oh, y'all didn't tell me to go check my stuff. Hold on. Okay, so halfway through, you got to stir it, and then we're going to put it back in. But we either have a chat for how to cook the spaghetti squash in the air fryer on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, or it's a YouTube video. I can't remember which one. But you can go and check that out and see how to cook a spaghetti squash in the air fryer. But once you do that, cook the spaghetti squash, string it up a little bit. Bye, Sherry. String it up a little bit. and then, to make it into the spaghettis, and then pack this in there, and then put it back in there for a few more minutes to let this kind of cook on top of the spaghetti, in the spaghetti squash, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's really good as doing it like that for spaghetti too. So anything where you can put it back in. Okay, so we're going to let that finish. Okay, another thing it's really, really, really good in is portobello mushroom caps. So if you think portobello mushrooms are meaty, which I do, I think they're very meaty, and my mom used to use them as a meat substitute. These, you can stuff them with the Buffalo Karen's, the Windstar Karen's buffalo chicken dip. You can stuff them with that and then stick them back in the air fryer again. Oh my gosh. We'll be making that later this week, and I'll show y'all how to make that. So absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. And last thing that I have with me tonight that we're going to try that on is peppers are starting to come in. So how yummy would this be to blanch some peppers? Just blanch some peppers, cut the tops off, get the seeds out, blanch the peppers, and then mix it with a little bit of extra, or mix it with some rice. So in this situation, I would use real rice. I would probably even use real Spanish rice or white rice just to give it a little extra something, because the buffalo chicken dip is only 1 smart point per serving when you're on purple. And you can check out those other the other points values on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. But how pretty is that going to be when I do that? When stuff it with the I keep calling it buffalo chicken. So Windstar Karen, very sorry I keep calling you buffalo chicken, buffalo Karen. But anyway, stuff it in that and have stuffed peppers. Oh my gosh! And okay, Debbie. So I had a poblano pepper in my hand. At the grocery store today, and I thought, I so want to do that on a poblano pepper too. But I need to use these peppers up first. So as soon as those peppers are used up, then I will definitely be headed back for a poblano. Okay, so for those of you who haven't made it, this is how it turns out. And then hang tight, because I promise I'm not going to keep you here past 9, because now I'm hungry. So I want to go home and eat. But for those of you who haven't made this before, you can also do, if you like a little bit of extra heat, you can add some Dax spices, butt kick and buffalo. You can add that to it for a little bit of extra, for a little bit of extra kick. But this is so good, so yummy, so creamy, and it's just the buffalo and the ranch is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. And putting all of these together in the microwave, it comes out. It is so creamy. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Like, we could eat this all the time. Okay, so let me set this over here. But Carol Lou and some others of you can't find fat-free cream cheese. So what do you do if you can't find fat-free cream cheese? Because light cream cheese, a third less fat, Nufactal, is that how you pronounce it, cheese, makes this quite a few more points than if you had, sorry, the hiccups, quite a few more points than if you had fat-free cream cheese. So what do you do? What do you do if you don't have fat-free cream cheese? So what Debbie, the surprise that Debbie almost blew, I'm just kidding, Debbie, I'm so kidding. Okay, so what Debbie was trying to tell you all is you can make your own fat-free cream cheese. I've never done it. We're going to do this together. So Debbie has mentioned this to me, I don't know, what, Debbie, 8 or 10 times? No, I'm not kidding. She's probably mentioned this to me 8 or 10 times, making this, the fat-free cream cheese, making it myself. So we're going to try it. Debbie, no, you can grade me on this and you can let me know how we did. So I looked up probably 8 or 10 different ways to do this. So apparently Vicki has done it too, Debbie's done it. So we're going to try this together. So the most easiest way that I found to do this was to take non-fat plain Greek yogurt. So there's your fat-free something. And we're going to get all the water and whey out of it. Okay, and yes, Debbie, I'm going to let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. So the easiest one I found said to use a plastic colander because apparently a metal colander is going to mess it up. So a plastic colander, something for it to drain into. So I made sure that, see my little bowl underneath, is smaller than the colander. So the colander is going to sit up over the top of it. And then you need clean cheesecloth. I'm not going to lie, I don't think I've ever used cheesecloth before. Maybe to make little spice packets, maybe. I don't know. I had to go buy cheesecloth. I've never used it before. So, again, from what I read, we're literally just going to scoop. And I'm only going to do about half of this because since it's a first try, I don't want to mess up an entire container of non-fat plain Greek yogurt if this does not work. But so, according to what I read, we are literally just going to put this, we're going to put the non-fat plain Greek yogurt into the cheesecloth, which is in the colander. And what's supposed to happen is we're going to let it sit in the refrigerator. So we're going to put it in the refrigerator. And one of the ones said to cover it with plastic. So Debbie and Vicki, what do y'all think about that? Do you cover yours? Do you leave it like this and just cover it with plastic? Is that what you all do? Or is there some extra step that I need to? Okay, and Vicki says if the strainer has smaller holes, you don't need to use cheesecloth. So, Vicki, I also saw on something else that said you can use a like a coffee filter, like a one of the coffee filters with a little mesh thing in it that you could use that too. Okay, so Debbie says her little box has a plastic cover. Okay, so we're going to cover this with plastic then. We're going to cover this with some plastic wrap. So all I've got is cheesecloth in a strainer sitting above a bowl that will let it drain. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator for 12 hours. So this means at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'm going to check this and see how it's doing. And then from what I understand, tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, we will have fat-free cream cheese. So I need to know who has done this before. So besides Debbie and Vicki, who has made this before? Has anyone else done this? And Debbie and Vicki, I'm going to give you all your chance here in just a second. So, truth be told, the reason I only made half of I made one batch. Okay, so Lynn has. I made one batch of the Windstar Karen's Buffalo Chicken Dip. I only made one batch because I'm going to make the second batch with the fat-free cream cheese that we are making now. So we have, okay, let's see. Vicki uses a sifter, puts the yogurt in and covers with saran wrap and then adds a little salt when done. Okay, I can do that. So I've got the colander, cheesecloth, sitting above a bowl with the plastic wrap on it, and tomorrow at 9 o'clock, it won't actually be right at 9 o'clock because I'll have Alyssa by then, but tomorrow we're going to check on this and see if we have fat-free cream cheese. So for everybody who is concerned about not having fat-free cream cheese to make your Windstar Karen's Buffalo Chicken Dip, we might have the solution right here. So stay tuned tomorrow to find out how it goes. Otherwise, I hope you all had a great evening. I had a great time too. I'm like starving now because I can smell the buffalo chicken dip, and I can tell you from personal experience, it's fantastic. But I hope y'all had a great evening. If you were watching this on YouTube, just go ahead and let that next video roll on over. It's going to go ahead and play the next one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, there's a little button down here that says subscribe. And if you would please click the subscribe button and then click the little bell so that you'll be notified when our next video is up. And then this next little button over here is for our Spreadshirt store. But y'all have a great week. Dusty is staring at me, so I'm not going to get him up here because I don't want him to get into our fat-free cream cheese, our hopefully fat-free cream cheese. I'll let you know tomorrow how it goes. But yeah, he is like, I don't know, can y'all see him? Hold on. He's right. Oh, no, you can't see his nose. Anyway, y'all have a great evening. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. I'll let you know how I did first week back at our actual workshop this week. I'll let you know how we did because I'm feeling like it's going to be a good one. But y'all have a great evening. I had another great time. I super duper enjoy being with you all, and I'm going to have see, Debbie says, if you have a plate, put it on top of the bowl. I can do that. We have lots of plates here. But I'll have Casey work with me on the volume next week, and we will see how it sounds. So thank you all for hanging in there while we work with some more technology things. But you all have a great evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.